everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm John, and today we're going to be talking about the horror dark comedy Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. But before I dive into my review of that, if you are a fan of movie reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, TV reviews, video game reviews, and we're doing a lot more tech reviews here on the channel, nothing helps out more than by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was directed by Halana Rain. It was just released, finally got its major worldwide rollout after a slow, limited release after it got its premiere earlier this year at South by Southwest with a lot of rave reviews from critics, so I was really excited to see this. It did take me a little while because last week it kind of had a very limited release and it wasn't playing anywhere near me, but it finally was playing by a theater near me and I finally was able to check this one out. And let me just say right off the top, I really did enjoy this film. This is very much A24's take on a satire of Gen Z and late millennials wrapped up into a Clue type of type of film where we're trying to figure out who a killer is in a one place environment. That's pretty much what it is. It takes place at a hurricane party. There's a hurricane coming in and a group of friends decide to get together, hang out, ride out the storm together because they're all very rich. At least Pete Davidson's character, where they're having this party at, his character is called David. They're having the party at his house and his parents clearly are loaded. They have an amazing, immaculate house with a beautiful swimming pool. So that's another thing they're trying to talk about, is basically the difference in classes. That's another thing that they're trying to hint at in this movie. But at the end of the day, if you were to really just boil it down to it, it really is a simple horror satire. It's very much just trying to figure out who the killer is in this group of people, because they decided they're going to play this game. It's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. They pull a paper, whoever has the X is the killer, and everybody else has to try not to be killed by them. But before you know it, one of them actually does turn out to be really dead, and now they're all turning on each other, trying to figure out who the killer is. We've seen this storyline before, but I think what they're trying to really do in this film is really talk about how people act on Twitter and on Facebook, and really in social media in general, how we all kind of just gang up on one person, even if without proof of that person doing anything wrong. Once we have decided as a group of people that that person has done something, in the court of public opinion, that person is wrong, even if they aren't wrong, even if they are 100% in the right, but we don't know it, and we need to blame somebody for something. And that's pretty much what this movie is hinting at, as they're trying to really figure out who the killer is in this movie. They really start to just turn on each other, and these are lifelong friends for the most part. There's a couple outsiders in this group that were brought from other people, but it really just shows the lack of empathy and emotion that I guess Gen Z and the early age millennials are kind of in this world, where they're trying to say that people are just very disconnected to society nowadays, and they very much don't have empathy and emotion for each other. Even people that are the closest to them, they don't really care fully about them and fully about their emotions or anything like that. They really just care about themselves and about getting their name out there, getting a following. Because one of the characters, and actually this person did a phenomenal job in this film.
Did you just fucking shoot me?
I can't believe you're making this about you.
Rachel Sennett, she plays Alice in this movie. She's a podcaster, and I believe that she had all the best lines, the best line delivery in this. She was the funniest character in this movie. And actually, one thing about her character is she's wearing these, like, glow sticks that wrap around your necks and wrists, so all throughout the movie you could figure out who she is just because she's lighting a lot of the scenes with stuff that she's wearing on her body, which was a very unique choice because a lot of this movie lit by the flashlight on phones or those lights are very dim. It's a very dark movie being lit very uniquely using phones and lights on, like, very limited amount of light. So it actually kind of gives that claustrophobic feeling of the movie, which I really did enjoy. I thought the lighting was something very unique. It very much is an A24 kind of feeling movie, where as far as the art style and art direction goes. But I really do appreciate that. That works very much for me. So that was something that was really cool to see. But anyway, back to her character of Alice. She is phenomenal. I wouldn't be surprised if this actress starts to get a lot more roles going forward, because she stole the movie. And like I said, there's a lot of other great characters that you might recognize in this movie. Another one, the actress who plays Sophie, Amanda Stenberg, she was in The Hate U Give that I saw a few years ago. She's definitely an actress that's on the rise, so she had another solid performance in this. And I feel like everybody, all the characters, this is a really good ensemble cast that I think everybody knew the role, the movie that they were in, and I think that they all did actually a really good job. This movie was very entertaining throughout. It definitely had a pretty solid pace. There was some points where the pace kind of like dipped and it kind of like moved very slowly, or it just took a little too long for certain scenes to end, and I felt like they kind of like dragged that out to fill up the runtime, which was definitely a strange choice, and it was very noticeable to me throughout the movie. But that was just kind of minor complaints. And then another thing that I really did enjoy about the movie was the score. It's very much a Sith score. It actually reminded me a lot of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch while I was watching it, which is actually one of my favorite Halloween movies. And it did kind of feel like it was inspired by 80s horror, like with the way the lighting was going, and it definitely inspired by films like Clue and The Thing. And I really did appreciate that. I love movies like that where you're just trying to figure out who the killer is. And this definitely has a very original take on that concept that it was actually kind of easy to figure out for me and my wife. I don't think it's that hard to figure out what they're trying to say with that, but I'm not going to spoil it. Obviously, this is a brand new movie. But I think that your mileage on how the movie ends and wraps up is definitely going to vary on how your feelings are if you figure it out early or not. But that didn't take away from the movie for me. I still found it to be very entertaining throughout. Like I said, it's very enjoyable. I had a couple laugh out loud moments. It looked great. There's a scene, I'm not just out of context, but pay attention to it, where there's two characters rolling around in the mud and they end up falling in the pool, and they put the camera in the pool and you just see the mud coming off their bodies, and they hang on this shot for quite some time. And I just thought it was very unique. I haven't seen anything like that on film before. And I think that's what you get when you bring in a studio like A24 to help. They have a certain style that they want their films to look like. They have a certain feeling that they're trying to portray. And I think they did a phenomenal job with that in this film. So overall, as far as an A24's film, it's another standout A24 film in a year of standout A24 films. I haven't gotten to actually see Marcel the Shell with Shoes On yet, which is something I've been dying to see. I just haven't had the time to go, and my theater near me hasn't had it playing. But between this and Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's another standout year for A24 Studios. This is another solid film. If you are a fan of horror, if you are a fan of satire, I could totally recommend this film. It's a pretty solid one. If I was going to rank this out of 10, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I would say check it out in theaters if you can. If not, I think this will be a very nice 4K Blu-ray if that's eventually what we get from it, because like I said, I really did enjoy the way that this film was shot and the score, so I would love to see it on a 4K Blu-ray. But more than likely, this will just be a regular Blu-ray release in a few months, and I'm sure it'll come to streaming, at which point I think you guys should definitely check it out, because I think you really will enjoy your time. It's really a fun movie, definitely something unique and original on a tale you've already seen before. And as always, guys, thank you so much for being here on another episode of Let's Talk. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.